Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chills and all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. WWE Road to WrestleMania. Obviously, the Road to WrestleMania is from January through early April, the Royal Rumble, and then now it's WWE Fastlane, and then the WrestleMania pay-per-view late March, early April. It's always the big time of year for WWE. A lot of big storylines are been developed. You get some returns, you get that Royal Rumble match, which anything can happen. So what I put together is kind of what I want to see happen at the Royal Rumble, and a kind of a preview card for Wrestlemania 31. But first, let's kind of talk about some things going on currently in WWE. This Monday, the first Raw of the year, we're going to have the return of the Authority, as we all seen last week on Raw. Edge and Christian, great host. It was sad to hear that Christian's retired. I didn't realize that. And Michael Cole said it. It's like, Christian's what? It's sad, concussions and stuff. It's really sad. Cut his career short. He was a great wrestler, two-time world champion, 8-time tag team champion or something like that. It was great seeing Edge and Christian back together. Their run, early 2000s, as a tag team was probably one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Just everything they did, just the 5-second pose for those with flash photography and just everything. And having the peep show and the cutting edge and kind of combining them as the cutting edge peep show, which is pretty neat. Which is pretty neat to see. Obviously with that end segment on Raw with, Big Show holding down Edge for, Seth Rollins to do the curb stomp and Cena reinstating the Authority and trying to save Edge. There's this whole thing on the web and everything about a lawsuit, and Edge and Christian talked about it on SmackDown. You kind of wonder, is it a work? Is it real? Is it fake? Is it a storyline? What's WWE doing here? Edge and Christian aren't normally there. Edge has been, just sporadically since he, inducted in the Hall of Fame a couple years ago, and his injury, his neck injury. So you're kind of watching, wondering about it after reading online on Tuesday. And then I watched SmackDown last night. We all know SmackDown is taped on Tuesdays. WWE Main Event, which shows on the WWE Network on Tuesday nights, is filmed before Raw and before SmackDown. Michael Cole made a comment that, as we revealed on Main Event Tuesday night, Edge and Christian had a lawsuit against WWE and Triple H. How could they reveal this on Main Event on Tuesday when Main Event is taped before Raw? Obviously it's a work. Obviously Tuesday night they're taping a SmackDown. So it gets leaked to the media, put all over the internet and everything. If there was truly a lawsuit, Edge and Christian would not have been on SmackDown. They would have rewrote that bad boy. So we all know it's a work. The turnout of this work we don't know, but we do get Edge and Christian on TV talking, cutting promos. One of the greatest part about those two characters is their promos. So we do get that. It's going to be amazing kind of to see where that goes. Obviously this Monday we'll have the Authority back on Raw after a little hiatus since Survivor Series. We should see the debut of Sting on Raw. There's talk of that. So the first Raw of the year should be pretty big, pretty insightful to see where that goes. I look at them setting up Sting versus Triple H at WrestleMania. My thinking what they'll do with that, they'll do some storyline kind of like Survivor Series was. Basically, you might have Vince, showing up, the Authority versus Sting. If Sting wins, he's the general manager of Raw. If the Authority wins, they stay in power. It's probably where it might come down to at the WrestleMania match. As for the Royal Rumble, already announced 30-man Royal Rumble. We all know last Monday Daniel Bryan announced he will be in the 2015 Royal Rumble. It was going to be really sad the way Daniel Bryan started talking that if he would have been sidelined, his career would have been over for a neck injury. After losing Edge to a neck injury, Christian from concussions, CM Punk walked away because he was burnt out, and then Daniel Bryan. Those would be just too many Hall of Fame caliber main event wrestlers that WWE would have lost. But thankfully, Daniel Bryan's able to return, and he got obviously a big pop from the crowd. One of the biggest faces in the business right now. So what I would like to see happen at the Royal Rumble is I want to see the Royal Rumble match as the main event. Have the Rumble as the main event. Have the final four come down to be Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose. Out of those four, I would like to see Brock Lesnar come out and eliminate Reigns, or somehow Lesnar and Reigns kind of get set up, because I know there's been a lot of talk of doing that. I want to see Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, not for the title though. So, what you would have to do is, your final four, your Royal Rumble, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Ziggler, Ambrose. Reigns gets eliminated, Ambrose gets eliminated. Your final two, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, two of your biggest faces in the business right now. Have them get eliminated at the same time. I don't know if you close out, you take each other over the ropes and your feet hit exactly at the same time. Or maybe you have, Roman Reigns come back in and throw them both over, after being eliminated. Push them both over, but they both get eliminated at the same time, which has happened one other time in Royal Rumble history. I believe it was 1993. It was Lex Luger and Yokozuna, I believe. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, I didn't look it up. I should have looked it up. So it has happened before. So then he would set up a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Well, as your sub-main to this, because obviously it's two, WWE likes to end pay-per-views with faces winning. You have two faces winning the Royal Rumble. As your sub-main, you do Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. You have John Cena beat Brock Lesnar, because Lesnar's leaving after WrestleMania to get the fucking title off of him finally. Have John Cena beat Brock Lesnar. Have Seth Rollins cash in the Money in the Bank on John Cena. So you would have to cash in. You have Seth Rollins as your world champion before the Rumble happens. So obviously you come down to the final four of Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose. Your crowd is going to go crazy because they're going to think, a member of the Shield main event in WrestleMania. Or you're going to look at Daniel Bryan going, oh my God, former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion versus former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan. You're going to think Roman Reigns, he's supposed to be the future, which he's not, Shield member. Dolph Ziggler, one of the biggest faces going since Survivor Series. Or Dean Ambrose, the lunatic. Look at the matches he's had with Daniel Bryan and with Seth Rollins. So the end of your Rumble would be amazing. So then you would set up your main event for WrestleMania, Seth Rollins as champion versus Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler. WrestleMania 31 card. The dark match, do The Miz versus Damian Sandow. Because obviously we all know, with them no longer being tag team champions, it's just a matter of time, probably at Rumble and or Fastlane, you'll have Miz turn on Sandow and break those two up finally, and let Sandow get his big face run that he deserves. He deserves to be a world champion. So you let him start that journey. You have the Miz versus Damian Sandow as your dark match. Tag team titles on the line, you have the Usos versus the Ascension. You let the Ascension win your first WrestleMania match, win the World Tag Team titles. Then you would have Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. You could go either way at this. You would still get the rub off of Lesnar for beating Undertaker at WrestleMania last year. And Roman Reigns beat Lesnar now and make Roman Reigns a little bit bigger. Roman Reigns needs to work on two things: in-ring skills and mic skills. Hey, wait, those are two of the things you need to survive in WWE right now. Roman Reigns has two moves: Superman punch, spear. That's it. That's all he has. He just does it over and over. He needs to learn a moveset. He needs to get with the Daniel Bryans of the world, the Seth Rollins of the world, the Dean Ambroses of the world, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and the list goes on, and learn a moveset. So you have Roman Reigns get the rub off Brock Lesnar by beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Obviously not for the title. You have your U.S. title. You have your John Cena versus Rusev. Rusev, trying to build him up as this big bad, can beat anybody type of guy. Have him beat Ryback at Rumble. Have him squash somebody at Fastlane. Have him go to WrestleMania and beat John Cena. You can have John Cena lose at WrestleMania if he's down on the card. You can't have John Cena main event at WrestleMania and lose. It doesn't happen very often. It's happened maybe once or twice. I have to look back and exactly look at that. I'll look that up for the WrestleMania preview. But you can have a John Cena lose when he's in the middle part of the card. Next, you'd have your Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal number dos. Last year, the winner Cesaro. This year, we'll have Dean Ambrose win it. If you do something different with Dean Ambrose here, have like a young guy from NXT win it, like a Kevin Owens or a Sami Zayn. Let one of these guys, maybe debut in the Rumble. And, obviously you're, going backwards a little bit, but your 30-man Royal Rumble, have 5 or 10 NXT guys in there. They're not going to win, but at least give them a debut. So your Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal number 2, you'd have a Dean Ambrose and or Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, one of the NXT guys type, or Dean Ambrose win it. Next, you would have The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt in a casket match. This would probably be The Undertaker's last match in WWE. Obviously a straight up match with Undertaker hasn't had one in a while. He had one against Punk at WrestleMania 29. He had one against Shawn at WrestleMania 26 and 25. But typically there's always a gimmick on him, no bar, no DQ type thing. So you kind of need something with Taker to kind of get, a Taker type match. And there's a lot of talk of the Bray Wyatt being the next Undertaker kind of character. The dark kind of, the lights go out when he comes out, and you don't really know what he's going to do and everything, and just maybe have Bray Wyatt, take a rub off Taker at WrestleMania. Could you let Taker lose again at WrestleMania and go out with 2 losses at WrestleMania? You can't really do that. But what you could do is you could still let Bray Wyatt look like a beast against Taker, let Taker win. Let Taker ride off into sunset, retire, go in the Hall of Fame the following year, and just, have his career be done, have him win versus Bray Wyatt, have Bray Wyatt get that rub against Taker at WrestleMania. Next, you would have Triple H versus Sting. Like I said earlier, you can make this for if Sting wins, he's general manager. If Tripp loses, the authority's gone forever. Something like that. Do Divas title next, do a Nikki Bella versus a Brie Bella. I know they kind of been versus each other, now they're together. What you could do, you could have Nikki turn on Brie, because Brie's always been kind of more the face version of him. Or you can have Brie turn heel and turn on Nikki. I mean, that'd be great too. You can do, sister versus sister, Bella versus Bella. And then your main event for the world title, you'd have Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler. You'd have a Daniel Bryan win this. That way, 2 years in a row, he ended WrestleMania with a victory, and the crowd would just erupt. And then you could go forward, with mixed match in these 3 in the world title hunt, Just like if you go back, the Attitude Era, you always had Rock, Austin, Triple H, Shawn, Taker, and then, you had the Edges of the world, Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar. You always need 3 or 4 pieces in your main event to kind of mix match and do different things with. These would be your big 3, and then if you want to build Roman Reigns up, Ambrose, Cesaro, build these guys up where, give them each, a little title run. I know there was talk of making the next champion a longer world champion than Daniel Bryan than CM Punk was. Why not make Daniel Bryan a 450-day world champion? It'd be kind of fitting if he beat CM Punk's mark when he kind of followed Punk in Ring of Honor as champion. He followed Punk from Ring of Honor to WWE, let him follow Punk in the world title run, and hold his title until next year. Have Daniel Bryan win it at WrestleMania 31 and hold the damn thing until Survivor Series or SummerSlam 2016. Why not? I mean, let him have a 450-day title run. Have him, surpass Punk by far. Let Daniel Bryan be that champion. Unlike the Brock Lesnar's of the world, he'll defend the title every pay-per-view, and he'll be there. And then Brock Lesnar will lose at WrestleMania to this Roman Reigns and go off the UFC and be a douchebag like he always has been. Alright, that wraps up what I want to see on the road to WrestleMania. Hopefully, I got some people with comments out there. Please comments down below. I want to hear what you want. I want to hear what your main event for WrestleMania would be. If you like mine, who you want to win if it's not Daniel Bryan. Alright, that wraps up the road to WrestleMania. As always, I'm your host Robert from Robert Sports Show. Have a spiffy evening. Good night.